What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Calvin Corelli. I'm the founder and CEO of Simplero. I'm going to talk about success in achieving based on a tweet I just saw from Alex Becker. If you think a certain amount of dollars will make you feel complete, then read this. Last year, I bought a $600,000 car in cash when I was bored on a weekend. I took a few vacations, private the entire way, moved into a $14 million giant penthouse. I've driven the car like 3 times. I found the vacations barely tolerable after a few days. I like my house, but I truly feel no big difference from it. Why I share this with you, the above is near the pinnacle of how you can live dollar-wise. Yet, I still literally am only happy when I'm building stuff, lifting or doing combat sports, eating right, progressing in hobbies like guitar, in a good place with my wife, playing a good video game. Everything I ever needed to be happy, I had access to at the entry level in my career. And there's been virtually nothing I can buy to increase it or have an elevated life experience. There's no destination of perma happy and everything is good. It's such an important point. The first time it really came to my mind was probably like 13 years ago. I was writing a blog about personal development, and this guy whose name was Eric emailed me, and he was about to exit his mobile social gaming company for $300 million. And he wrote me because he said he felt more miserable than ever. This was his dream. He'd worked his whole life to achieve this exit so he'd have all this money so he could live on a beach and just drink margaritas for the rest of his life. And now it was within reach and he was depressed. Because if you believe that life is suffering and it sucks and you hate it and you work hard and you're not loving your day, but there's some future destination when you have this exit, when you achieve this, when you get the perfect body or the perfect wife or make all this money, then you're finally gonna feel okay, worthy. You're okay. You're good enough as a person. You've proven yourself. You feel like your dad is gonna be proud of you, right? Or your mom is gonna love you, or whatever it is, the world is gonna love you. When you have enough followers on social media, when you have this car that you've dreamt on, when you have a private jet, everything's gonna be awesome. I'm here to tell you, it doesn't work that way. Money changes nothing. What having the money does change is it steals from you. It takes away the illusion that the money is gonna solve anything. It ain't gonna solve shit. Money only solves money problems, which is great. There are lots of problems that money will solve, but how you feel inside is not one of them. However you feel now, having more money is just gonna make you feel more of that. And so once you get access to that money, in his case, the offer of an acquisition, that strategy that you had to get out of the misery that you're in to the joy and happiness that you're seeking, that bubble is burst. That strategy is taken away from him. And that's why he got depressed. And that with pretty much every single founder who has a successful exit, especially the first one, they have this depression. The founder, the exit blues. They get really fucking depressed because this was their identity. This was their purpose, their meaning. And now they have all the money, but they don't have shit to do. Now what? I know other founders exit depression. It can be beautiful because it gets you to examine your inner life and your meaning and your purpose in life. So that's awesome, but don't believe that something on the other side, there's going to be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and then you're just going to be happy all the time and all your problems are going to be solved. I had this experience myself because when I worked for this company, Ars Digita, back in the early 2000s, they had this incredible BMW Z3. It was black and it looked amazing. And I loved driving that car on Highway 1 in California. I was on top of the world. I'm like, this is awesome. I have this. It was my car. It was a company car, but I get to borrow it. I just felt so free. I'm like, I'm in California. I'm on the coast. I got this beautiful girlfriend. Like, I am rocking it. Long story short, 9/11, blah, blah, blah. Ended up moving back to Denmark. And then in Denmark, I dreamt of that car. I dreamt of that car for 9 fucking years. And in Denmark, we have 180, 200% taxes on cars. So that car is very expensive. I didn't have that kind of money. I couldn't afford it. And so I just dreamt of that car, kept dreaming of that car. Then when I moved to the States in 2011, suddenly the opportunity was there. I could buy one pre-owned, one of those cars that have been leased, and you can buy it after the lease. And it was like $38,000 or something. It was like not crazy. And I could buy that. And by that time it was a Z4. And I was like, whoa, I'm on top of the world. This is the coolest car ever. It was space gray. It was so slick. It was so nice. I had my new girlfriend and we were driving down the coast of California. It was fucking awesome. I remember driving this small town along the coast down there somewhere. And there were these two guys on skaters. We had the top down and we're just driving slow. And they came by and they're like, one of them was like, oh, nice car, man. And I was like, yeah, such a cool car. And the other one was like, yeah, nice chick, man. And I was like, oh my God, like I am the fucking shit. And every day we would park at a restaurant in a parking lot, and I'd come out from the restaurant and I'd look around the parking lot. I'd be like, there's not a single car here that I'd rather own. Oh my God, this is the best car in the world. We were staying in a motel because I was basically broke, but I had this car and we were staying in a cheap motel, and I'd come down in the morning of the stairs of this motel. I'd look at the car and be like, it's lit. And we would go to Bikram yoga and we would have acai bowls after and whatever. Loved it. And then I will never forget this moment. Exactly 2 weeks, 14 days after I'd taken possession of this car, I came down the stairs of this motel in La Jolla and I looked at the car and something was wrong. Something was wrong. So what was wrong was I didn't feel shit. I didn't feel anything. I was like, the spark was gone. And I was like, that's weird. Let me try to go back up and just spin around, just check it up, and then go back down again. No, just nothing, not feeling anything. It's a car. It's a nice car, but it's not doing anything for me. And I was like, fuck, it's gone. It's gone. And it never came back. It never came back. That car, I thought for sure, I'd been dreaming of for 9 years. 9 years. I'd been dreaming of this car. 9 fucking years. Do you see that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. I've been dreaming of this car. And it was 14 days. That was a wake-up call for me. I realized nothing material is ever going to make me permanently happy. It's never going to make me happy ever. It can't come from outside. I can have nice things and I can appreciate them, and I do. I have beautiful things and I appreciate them every day, but none of that shit is going to ever solve any happiness problem for me. It's never going to make me happy. It can be an add-on to my life, but the happiness comes from inside. And I think a lot of us, I see a lot of people that have these things around the word success. Especially, I've come from Scandinavia and there's a lot of success. We don't in America, there's success. Yeah, we gotta have success. In Scandinavia, we're a little bit more, I don't like that word so much. But I see a lot of people also in America that have a lot of issues around the word success. For me, at one point, I found that success, there's this guy, Donnie Epstein, who does this thing that he calls the epigrid. He's like, where in your field is this concept, this word of success? Whereas, and for me, it was in here, which is a very low energy place. I'm an external, which means the energy is out here. When the energy is out here and I see myself from out there and I feel the energy from out there, there's life there. There's life there. When it's in here, which is behind me, then there's nothing. So for me, what we found was success and failure and shame were all linked in the same place. Success to me invoked the feeling of failure and death. And I had this coding that said, if I'm truly successful, then I am a failure because I will have been disloyal to my family. And so I better not be successful, right? If I succeed, I fail because I was disloyal to my family. But if I fail, I actually succeed because I'm being loyal to my family. But either way, the whole thing is tied to shame. So for a lot of us, these concepts get wired up weirdly in our brains. And when they do, we're like, I want to be successful. But inside, your whole unconscious being goes, oh, no, not that. That's That's failure. That's shame. That's death. So it's important to know how these words are wired, and you can choose a different word. For me, I like victory. I like victory. I like intimacy. So you can choose different words to use for it. Victory and intimacy are words that have a lot of juice for me, a lot of positive energy. I remember reading a book years ago about defining success. To me, I just grew up, success means you make a lot of money and you're famous, you get written about in the newspapers and you're well known, then you're successful, right? That's the definition of success. And then I read this book that said, you can define success for yourself. You get to define what that word means to you. And I was like, whoa, that's interesting. I never thought of that. What is success for me? And then I had a mentor who said, success to me is just achieving what you set out to, which to me, it was like such a relief when I heard that. I was like, oh, the success is just, here's what I want to do. And I do some things and then that's what happens. And I love that definition. It was much more, it was like not a yardstick. It was just like, this is what I set out to. This is what happened. But then I realized that definition also has a big problem, because then I set a goal. And then when I set that goal, I'm not successful because I haven't achieved it yet. And then I work on it and I work on it and I'm not successful. And then maybe I hit the goal. We don't always hit our goals, right? So there's maybe a, 50% chance, 10% chance, 80% chance, depends on what the goal and what you bring to the table, how committed and consistent you are. But let's just say that you achieve the goal. So now you've been unsuccessful for the entire time. Maybe it took you 2 months, been unsuccessful the entire time. Then you hit the goal, you're successful. But how long till you set the next goal? 10 years, 10 months, 10 weeks, 10 days, 10 minutes, 10 seconds. Like, if you're like most driven, ambitious, entrepreneurial people, it's probably somewhere between 10 seconds and 10 minutes. You probably, in fact, already had the next goal in mind before you hit the first one, right? So the feeling of success lasts for not very long at all. And so now you're right back to being unsuccessful. So what happens with this definition that success is achieving what you set out to is that you're going to be unsuccessful all of your life, essentially, except for small blips of success. And I don't think that's a good way to live. I like to be successful every day. So you get to define your rules. This is something that Tony Robbins does a lot at his Date with Destiny event, is he helps you identify what are your values. Like success might be a value, which is basically a feeling that you want to feel, that you aspire to. Or you can have away values. This is a toward value. You can have away values, which are feelings that you don't want to feel. So if you have a toward value like success, then you can ask yourself, what has to be true in order for me to feel that feeling? And then you get to rewire that. You get to rewrite that and define your own rules. And then you get to wire that into your nervous system if you want to, which is a good idea to do. So the definition that I adopted is from a former Navy SEAL called Larry Yatch. He's a really inspiring, really deep thinker. And his definition, which I've adopted wholesale, is success is an optimized daily experience sustainable over time. So it literally means that I have an optimized daily experience. I optimize my daily experience. When do I want to wake up? What do I want to do first thing in the morning? Maybe I shower, maybe I exercise. I always hit the gym first thing. I do lemon water, I do celery juice, I do 16/8 fasting, create content, I write code, I work with my team, I learn, I study, I grow, I become smarter and wiser and stuff. I practice Italian. I fill my day with activities that make me happy. I'm a maker, I'm a builder, I'm a creator. What makes me happy is creating stuff. I'm also a learner, an absorber, like a sponge for knowledge that pertains to how do we get better at taking our ideas and our visions and bringing them to life in the world, whether it's for business or health or relationships, family, physical things, spiritual things, whatever. How do we get better at realizing what we have, what we can see in our minds? That's my obsession. And I will study anything and put it into practice and teach it anything that helps with that. That's what I love to do. And if I get to do that every day, I'm super pumped and excited. Very much. I do every once in a while because I love being with my wife, and for her and I to spend time together, we always get so much out of that. But it's not go to a fancy beach. That's not, I don't care. We can stay home and be together, or we can go on a road trip. So it doesn't matter where we go. It doesn't have to be fancy or expensive or involve an airplane or anything. Actually, I really like driving places with my wife. We have the best conversations in the car. And I love the Tesla because it'll drive itself and we can just talk. It's amazing. I test drove a McLaren the other day, and I might get one just for fun, but I don't know. It wouldn't change anything materially for me. It's like, yeah, it could be fun. It's a different thing. It's an experience to have, but I don't know that I would ever get into that at all. I could see myself get a Cybertruck because that's fun, and maybe a Roadster when Tesla makes that, but it's hard for me. Again, I like a car to take me places, and I love that it keeps getting better. That's so exciting with the Tesla, and it drives it fucking self, so I can focus on listening and learning and like having a conversation with my wife or whatever. That is so much nicer to me. Big ass, oh, I had this car. I'd love to have a private jet just because the experience of flying commercial it's humiliating to me. It's so like undignified. Flying commercial is so undignified. If I could pay double to actually get a good experience, I would. But I fly business class everywhere, and it still fucking sucks. Like, just from a customer service, user experience perspective, I obsess about those things. So it bothers me in that way. But again, it's not going to change my life materially. I remember one of my friends who is in the private aviation industry. Most people, they get the private jet, and then they're super excited, but then they realize, oh shit, I get on this thing and I'm all alone in this metal cylinder in the middle of the air. Like, how fun is that? It's not fun. And they miss the company. So you can have this private jet, but if you don't have people to share it with, who cares, right? It's like, I finally got a jet. You've got like $50 million sitting there, and then you've got the expenses and the cost of upkeep and hangar and your team, like the pilot and crew and whatever that needs to operate. It's now just a massive expense. Like, you're like, shit, I should use it. I should go someplace. I don't know. Like, where am I going to go? And all of a sudden, going anywhere is like a $20,000, like if you're going to fly to Europe, it's still going to be like $100,000 each way kind of expense just in fuel and maintenance costs for that kind of trip. So it's, oh, it better be really fucking worth it to do that. So you imagine that it just solves all these problems, but it really doesn't. Sometimes you have to have the experience to really get it. The only thing that really matters is the optimized daily experience, and part of that is who you become. I'm working on this book called You Are the Product. And here's one of the covers that I'm testing around. And the subtitle is Make People Buy From You Because of Who You Are. Like, people are attracted to your energy. When you express your energy strongly, clearly to the world, like you're like, they can feel you, right? Because you're so clear on that energy, because you've removed all the layers of BS that we all have, where we're like, we grow up thinking we have to be this way or that way, be a nice girl and a boys don't cry, and all of those things that we learned growing up. Let me see here if I can zoom in on this fucker. So you are the product. But the other kind of message in this is that you are the product, as in you are the outcome of your business and your life, really. But you get shaped by the business that you build. I'd like to think of your business as your spiritual gym, right? You go to work on your business every day, and in the process you grow. Like, it's your worthy opponent. It's the thing that makes you grow because of the problems and challenges in your business. They're the things that encourage you to grow and become a better, stronger, more capable, more responsive, more responsible human being. And that's freaking amazing. The goals are not about the goals. It's about who you become in the process of achieving those goals. That's the only thing that you can take with you. And I know you know this, but we all need this reminder from time to time, because there's like on Instagram and you see all these people. My favorite thing is these people who rent a private jet, don't fly it. They just rent it for the day so they can take photos in that private jet. Who was that guy? There's this like rapper a couple of years ago that was like posting on Instagram in front of a private jet saying, yeah, going to Miami today. And then someone saw him literally sitting in Southwest that same day, flying to Miami. So it was true he was going to Miami, but he wasn't going on a private jet. He was just going on fucking Southwest. So a little bit of deception there. And so this is so common. We think that all of that glamour, all that glitz, all that shit is going to make us happy, but it doesn't. There's so many people, so many of these social media people, and so many of these big names that you follow, that when you get to know them a little bit, you know that they're fucking miserable. They put on a great show and a facade, and they're like, oh my God, look at me and my life. And I'm like, I got all this shit, and I'm going traveling here, and I'm going to dinner there, and look at all these cocktails and drinks and food and travel. But they're empty inside. They're miserable and lonely. Because they've bought into this myth that if you just buy enough shit, that if you buy enough vacations or travels or meals, consume enough of whatever drugs of choice of the culture or something, that then you will suddenly feel okay. You'll feel good enough. You'll feel happy. You will feel loved. You will feel worthy of love. But it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. The greatest fear is that we're not enough, and therefore we won't be loved. Another word for this is shame. You hear me talk about shame a lot, because underlying so much of everything that's going on in the world is shame. I'm not enough. I see all of these influencers, they go to the gym and they work out and they get fit and they get like bulky and all that, but their skin is like red or orange and it doesn't look fucking healthy, and it turns out they're not healthy inside. It becomes all about the visual, how it looks, the Instagram, not how do you actually feel inside, and are you actually healthy inside. And so it's all of this status thing where we think that if we have, if only I have X, then I'll finally feel like I've arrived. I am enough. And it's a lie. You are worthy of love just because you exist. Just because you were born, just because you're breathing air and your heart is beating, that, my friend, is the proof that you are worthy of love. And you don't need anybody else to love you in order for you to know that you're worthy of love. There's nothing that you need to do or become or achieve or prove or accomplish in order to be worthy of love. All you need to do is be willing to consider the possibility that you already are worthy of love. All you need to do is be willing to question the belief that you have to do or achieve or become something, that you have to prove yourself, that you have to reach some bar in order to be willing to love, to be worthy of love. The moment you entertain the willingness to question that story, that's the gap. That's the gap. And through that gap, light's going to enter, and then it's just going to grow wider and wider until it's the whole thing. There's nowhere to get to. This is it. This is it. The only thing that matters is who you become, and are you having an optimized daily experience that's sustainable over time, right now and today. It's the only thing that matters. So focus on that, and everything falls into place. There's nowhere to get to. It's not a race. It's not a comparison. It's not a competition. Enjoy your life. You have everything that you need to be absolutely thriving today. I was reading Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, the founder of Nike. So worth reading that book. And he talks about all the shit that happened in the early days. They almost went bankrupt so many times, and now he's a multi-billionaire. And his big dream, his wish is he could go back and live those days again. Fucking enjoy where you are. When I got divorced 13, 14 years ago, it was one of the most painful experiences of my life. It was also one of the most exquisite, beautiful experiences because it was so raw. All the feeling, all the emotion was right there. I would walk down the sidewalk in San Francisco on Mission Street, all the places that I went with my ex-wife that I dreamt of living and moving to with my ex-wife that weren't going to happen. And I just, the feeling of grief over all the dreams I had that were just like popped, gone, lost. And I'd just be walking and I'd be happy. And then like, boom, it would hit. And I was just like, I'd have to get down on my knees and just sit there and sob and cry. And it was so gut-wrenching. It was so intense. And I was like sobbing deeply. And it lasted for 3 months. I remember thinking like, I was like, will this ever end? Is this just what my life is going to be like now? Is this ever going to change? And then, can this just be over? And then at the same time, it's also kind of really beautiful because it was so raw and so real. And so I'd been so dead inside for so long, shut down emotionally, feeling disconnected, all that. And now like I had this and now it was like, boom, all that stuff just hit me. And so it was beautiful and raw, and I was savoring it, and also at the same time, wanting it for it to be over. And then one day, 3 months in, boom, it was gone, and I was just normal again. Normal, not repressed like I was, but just normal. And I was like, fuck, had I known that this was just going to be over like that one day, I would have savored it like 10x. That, my friend, is your life right now. I want you to savor every fucking moment of it. All the joy and all the pain and all of it. Savor it. Because this is life. This is the experience. There's nowhere to get to. Don't wait till the future. Decide right now to be fully present with everything. The good and the bad and the ugly, and stop fucking labeling things as good, bad, or ugly. Just be present with whatever it is and don't fucking judge it. That's my parting message for you today. All right, I love you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do subscribe. Do share with your friends. Do hit the bell button. Email me, calvin@corelli.me. Go to my website, calvincorelli.com, and you'll see there's an email list there as well. But get in touch. I love to hear from you. Email me. Let me know what resonated with you. I just want you to fucking have an incredible life. That's my goal for you. I don't want you to achieve anything in particular because I know none of that matters. I want you to just fully be you in this world, in this life, and express yourself in the way that is most you. And then all the other shit's going to take care of itself. All right. That's my message. Have an awesome day. Love you. Talk soon. Bye.